Chapter 5, The Personal Mouse. Ralph's life in the cage was never the same after the arrival of the hamster Chum. Chum was picky about his food and fussy about his housekeeping. One corner of his cage had to be his bathroom, and another his sleeping quarters, and a third the storehouse for the food he liked. Sounds like our hamster from school. He was forever pushing and shoving and stomping his cedar shavings. His exercise wheel rasped and creaked whenever he ran, usually while Ralph was trying to nap. He had a particularly irritating way of gnawing noisily at the bars of his cage. That's right, it was so loud. Sorry about that, Ralph. Why do you do that? Asked Ralph. You can't chew through metal. I'm not trying to chew through bars, said Chum. I'm wearing down my teeth. Ralph was astounded. Don't you want teeth? He asked, thinking about how dependent he was upon his own sharp teeth. If I don't chew something hard, my teeth will grow so long that I won't be able to eat, said Chum. I chew bars because Lana is too silly to give me anything hard to chew. Oh, said Ralph, grateful that his teeth did not continue to grow. Chum had another habit that disturbed Ralph. He nipped at Lana whenever she tried to pick him up. That's not nice, thought Ralph. One day, when he had seen Lana hastily withdraw her hand from the pet's cage, he said, "That's the biting hand that feeds you." I have some rights, said Chum. If I let Lana pick me up, I would never have any peace. Believe me, I know. I made the mistake of letting her pick me up just once, and when she tried to stuff me into a doll's sweater, I knew once was enough. Chum also sat for long periods of time, swinging gently on his wheel and staring with unblinking eyes at nothing at all. Why do you sit there like that? Asked Ralph, who liked to be busy when he was awake. I'm thinking, said Chum. Thinking about what? Said Ralph. I'm a philosopher, said Chum. I think about life. Life? Ralph was puzzled. What do you mean? Chum sat staring into space so long that Ralph thought he was never going to answer. And finally, Chum said, Take you, for instance. Just where do you think you're going on that wheel? No place, I guess, said Ralph. I never thought about it much. See what I mean? You run and you run until you're tired, but you're still on the same old spot. Ralph felt suddenly guilty, as if he had done something wrong, but was not sure what it was. But I like running on my wheel, he said, and feeling that his answer was rather lame. Chum did not bother to reply. He continued to sit swinging, staring off into space. Ralph leaped to his wheel and began to run. His paws flew along the wires on the wheel, pushing it faster and faster until he looped the loop. He ran on and on until he began to tire out. His paws touched the wires more and more slowly until Ralph coasted to a stop. Then he too sat staring, motionless. Where was he going? No place. No place at all. With so many people feeding him, he was not even sure who owned him anymore. Perhaps when the camp closed at the end of summer, he would be turned out into the mercy of Catso and all those kittens. Drat Chum and his talk about life, thought Ralph. He had spoiled all my fun. Chum had still another habit that was disturbing to Ralph. Whenever his owner approached him with a bag of sunflower seeds, Chum suddenly appeared to change from a grouch into an agreeable pet. He climbed to the top of his cage, accepted a sunflower seed one by one, stuffed them into his cheek pouches. Feeding sunflower seeds to Chum became a daily event at the craft shop. The older campers and some of the counselors gathered around Lana to watch her feed Chum, and as she handed him the seeds, they would count 14, 15. What comes next? Ralph watched while Chum's cheek pouches began to bulge. 22, 23. Still Chum's face stretched. The old show-off, thought Ralph. 27, 28. Chum had grown so top-heavy that Ralph was sure he would never make it to 30. But he did. 30, 31, chanted the campers. Chum was having such difficulty hanging on that Ralph scarcely could bear to watch. 33, 34. Chum could no longer support his weight. He fell to the bottom of his cage with a thump that made Ralph cringe. 34, shouted Lana, who enjoyed the attention that her pet received from the other boys and girls. That's Chum's record, shouted Lana. Maybe he'll even get to 35 tomorrow, someone said, as the campers lost interest in the hamster and went off to their riding lessons or back to their craft work. We'll take a break there, kindergarten. I just want you to remember that this story, we're about halfway through.